The person I haven't talked to in a while is Jackson. I miss that dude. Oh yeah, man. I still do that all the time. I tell you what. Oh man. Hey, I got a really great place for us to play basketball if you're ever interested. You think you'd be interested? It's nice. Well, if you're interested in it, it's over at the church. They give me a key and I go inside and open it up and we have it to ourselves. I'm usually there all by myself and turn on some tunes and work out for like 45 minutes to an hour and then I go home. Flipping nice, man. And they got like it's like a real basketball court. I don't know who invested in it, but they got NBA basketball rims and stuff and it's just a good time. Come do it. We ain't getting any younger. If it makes you feel a little better, if you can believe it, I gained a little weight too. I've been working on losing it and everything. So you won't be alone if you make fiction. Oh. Here, play one game without. I'm be right there. I gotta fix something real quick. My game's being weird. That's what happens when you first load on and you don't check anything before you. What the shit? Yeah. Oh yeah. What do you mean? Like they stopped going or like? Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I gotcha. Well, shit. If you're not, you don't care about a drive too much, then yeah, come on down here to Priorsburg. Yeah. Hey, and we'll be real bad afterwards too. We'll go right to Sonic. Put that weight right back on you. Don't worry. Miami chocolate candles. What? Oh, really? Is your job physically demanding? Okay, but it can be. It can be when you like do like jobs. Hard work. Uh. They are. Yeah. Which one are you working on right now? RPK, the best one in the game. Wait, did you know that's the best gun in the game? Actually, yeah, it is. It's meta right now. Like if you run in Warzone, you basically have to run that gun right now because it's so OP. That and the Signal Sniper, really good. Oh, I need some COD in my life. Yeah. Oh dang. Hey, that's always feels good. That always feels good. I know that sounds weird that I say that, but it truly does. Like it's like when you work out or like when I play my trumpet and your lips are sore or whatever's sore, it's just like you did something good. Yeah. Jackson, I'm investing in getting like a really, really, really nice camera. Yes. No, not per se for streaming, but for some IRL stuff. Yeah, because I'm serious about doing that podcast stuff. I'm just trying to like get an objective about how I want to do it, but I also want to have the right kind of equipment for it too. Because I don't want it to just be like a voice podcast. I want it to be kind of like what we did with what's his name. He brought his own camera and stuff. I can't remember his name. The life of me. Figure I went to school with him. I'd remember his name. Yeah, Chupachinis. That sounds about right. I can't remember his name either. But you remember? I think it was our second one. Yeah, I think that's right. Maybe. Bro, yep, that's it. Yep, that's right. Yeah, when he brought his own camera and stuff. That. But I have since I'm working for Adobe now, I have the full like suite, Creative Cloud suite. Photoshop, Substance, I mean, you name it, I got it. Premiere Pro, Motion Array. What? For who? Really? Dang. That's awesome. Yeah, dang. That's pretty good. That's awesome. That's flipping awesome. Do you bring your own sound equipment or do you just run it off of their equipment? What? Hmm. Nice. Horrible. Know what they're doing. Gotcha. Hmm. That's pretty nice. That's not too bad. How long are the shows? A couple hours? Oh, oh, dang. Now that hey, 125 an hour ain't too bad. I cannot find you online, by the way. Okay. Constipated. Oh, that's why I couldn't find you. I was look. Chord space. Sorry, I was looking for Jackson painted, or I mean Jackson. Hello. Okay, what code am I using? Oh, I still gotta finish the signal. Okay, I guess I'm using that. Shoot the ship. Okay. I can't believe they're not bringing back gunfight. At least they're bringing back resurgence, and they're improving movement a ton. So sliding is gonna feel a lot more smoother, and there should be bee hopping back, so that's good. Yeah, I want it to be like Apex, or like it was like. Yes, man. It just feels so sexy. Just love that. Does, man. Like Fortnite right now, the way they've improved their movement and stuff. That's why I was going over there, is because it just felt so good. I was like, I miss that. And it's kind of the same, really. It's really not. I don't know. You might as well be playing the Warzone BR, to be honest, because it's the same. It's so sweaty over there anymore. I don't know. I think it was because I was playing it so hardcore, so then it started putting me into lobbies that are just rough. Yeah. Please. Yeah, please.
Domination.
Enemy contact.
Secure Bravo. We're taking Bravo.
Oh, buddy. Huh?
Charlie secure.
Oh, go play it.
We control Bravo.
Stun grenade out!
Securing Alpha.
Oh my goodness.
Enemies taking Charlie. We're taking Alpha.
Oh no.
Dust yourself off. Good.
We're losing Charlie. We hold all
Flash
objectives.
incoming!
Charlie. Enemies taking Bravo.
Reloading.
We're losing Bravo. Friendly UAV on station. Hostile mortar strike near your position. Supply. Hostile VSOL in the area.
No.
Enemy down.
We're losing Bravo. Bravo. Securing objective. Friendly cruise missile deployed.
Yeah.
Cover in your six. Using
We're taking Bravo. Securing objective Charlie.
stay.
Control Charlie. We're taking Bravo.
Oh, must be a glitch or something. That's weird. People like go prone, it's hard to shoot them.
Bravo. Enemy taking Alpha. Mortar strike inbound. Enemies taking. Secure.
Watch out! Incoming! On your six!
Taking Bravo. Enemy securing Charlie. We've lost Charlie. Our UAV is orbiting the area. Friendly UAV online.
Wow.
The enemy holds two
Yeah, that's still a
objectives.
decent lobby for sure.
Our UAV is friendly care package in the AO.
Okay.
UAV overhead.
Am I still alive? How am I still alive?
Bravo.
Hey, have you been watching that Last of Us on HBO? It's so good, man.
We're taking Bravo.
Especially if you like
Objective Bravo.
HBO stuff.
Enemy securing Bravo.
What's that like?
Approaching target.
Is that on Netflix?
Losing Bravo.
Oh, okay.
Compromised. Get it back. Secure Bravo. Hostile UAV in the area.
Is like the moon falling?
You're halfway to mission complete.
Okay.
Stay sharp.
Taking effective fire!
UAV online.
Who's all in it other than Samuel Tarly?
I'm on your 6.
Target sight.
Oh, okay. Interesting already.
Enemy securing Alpha. The enemy controls 2 objectives. Get off.
Enemy in the attack! Coming
Oh my.
Securing objective Bravo. Taking Charlie.
incoming!
Friendly airplane launched.
Have your back.
I love doing that.
Enemy securing Alpha. Securing objective
Oh.
Bravo.
Bad.
Securing Charlie.
Bro, this guy that keeps going prone is so annoying.
Enemy.
Like,
Bravo.
that's great, buddy.
Taking Bravo. The enemy has captured 2 objectives.
Huh?
Bravo. Losing Charlie. Enemy UAV overhead.
Man, these guys have turned it up with the explosions. The explosives, man.
Taking Bravo. Secure Bravo.
Get him!
Hostile mortar strike incoming. Securing objective Bravo. UAV on station. Taking Bravo. Securing objective Alpha. Our UAV is orbiting the area.
No.
We're taking Alpha. Secure Bravo. Friendly aircraft inbound. Hostile UAV in the area. Objective Bravo. Friendly cluster mine set.
Yeah, it's like the lobby changed up or something, like the other players quit or something.
Alpha secure.
It got real rough at the end there. It ain't all. Oh, I hate when you go to hit your vape and the coil tastes burnt. I hate that. I had to change out my batteries. I think it was my batteries causing because my coil started like going bad like really quick. I was like, something's wrong here. My coils usually last me like 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah. How long would coils last you? They usually last me like 2 to 3 weeks. That ain't bad. That shit's so funny. Let me do it for you. Ba-dum. It's just me and you. Let's get it. It's been fun getting back on that basketball grind, low key. It hurts, but it. Oh yeah, with your trick shot. Yeah, there's different size buckets there too. Yeah, you can lower it up and down. I'm serious. It's literally an NBA like basketball hoop and everything. Not that double rim crap. Yeah, not that crap. No, it's a flexible rim and everything. Really
Securing
nice.
Alpha.
I have your back.
We control Alpha.
Molotov, get down! Stunning strike! Target destroyed.
We're taking Bravo.
Molotov!
Enemy
Oh,
securing Bravo.
what? Signal?
Enemy's taking Bravo. We've lost
Gotta change the
Bravo.
scope.
Enemy's taking Alpha. We've lost all objectives. We have
Oh.
returned to securing
I don't think I've
objective
used
Bravo.
that one yet.
We're taking Bravo.
Yeah.
RPG, take cover!
The signal
We're
is
taking
like
Charlie.
insane with the refire. It's like
Securing
shooting like
objective
a
Alpha.
attack rifle.
Charlie. Securing Alpha. Friendly
I
base
know.
station.
I saw him too.
Objective Alpha secure.
Covering your
Enemy's
six!
taking Charlie.
Multiple movers! Grenade!
UAV
I
overhead.
hate the guys with the rat shield on their back.
Objective Charlie is compromised. Get it back. Secure Bravo. Enemy movement. Bravo secure.
Switching back! Enemy is down.
Enemy movement.
Oh yeah, I don't even. I haven't touched my controller for like a month.
We've secured 2 objectives.
Any game I play now, I'm playing mouse and key.
Watch your fire!
Slade.
Objective
your
Bravo
6.
is compromised. Get it back. Charlie.
Stop moving.
Changing back. I'm taking fire.
We've taken Bravo. Friendly VSO inbound. Enemy movement. Friendly more strike online. Our UAV is orbiting the area. Friendly care package on the way. Friendly UAV online. Securing objective Charlie. We're taking Charlie.
Shit, bad guys! Incoming!
Securing
down.
Charlie. Secure Bravo.
Trophy system online.
We control Bravo.
Covering your 6.
Taking effective fire.
Enemy taking Bravo. Securing objective Charlie. Enemy securing Bravo. Friendly VTOL on station. Enemy took Bravo. Securing Bravo. Friendly UAV on station. The enemy controls 2 objectives. We're taking Charlie. We're losing Alpha. We control Charlie. The enemy took Alpha.
How did I even die there?
Enemy securing Charlie. The enemy holds all objectives. We're getting our eyes in the area. Enemy UAV active. We're taking Alpha. Quick fix online. Alpha secure. Securing Charlie. We're taking Bravo.
Threat neutralized. You're clear.
Securing objective Charlie. Enemy taking Alpha. Charlie secure. We're losing Alpha. Objective Alpha is compromised. Get it back.
Right. Pain. I'm just getting my booty smacked. Oh my god, and then I got missile strike.
Securing objective Alpha.
Someone has a jug? Oh yeah, I got this. At least it's on our team.
Objective Alpha secure. Enemy securing Alpha. We're losing Charlie.
This guy with the RPG. Oh my god.
Secure Bravo. Securing objective Bravo.
Throwing grenade.
Enemy securing Charlie. 2 objectives secure. We've lost Charlie. We're taking Bravo. The enemy captured all objectives. Fight securing Charlie. Securing objective Bravo. Securing Alpha.
Yeah? No.
We're taking Alpha. Hostile UAV in the area. Secure Bravo. Securing objective Alpha. We control Alpha. Our
right now.
Alpha. We control Charlie. We have Alpha. Securing objective Bravo. Hostile mortar strike near your position. We're losing Charlie. Securing Alpha. Securing objective Alpha.
Aw.
Securing Alpha. The enemy's advancing.
So
Contact! Start
Missile entering this sector.
pain.
We're taking Alpha.
Yay.
Mission compromised. We've been defeated.
I think I'm done with that gun. Maxed out. Let me back out real quick. Actually, I need to choose what weapon I want to use. No. Victus X. Oh, I see. That's funny. Ain't nobody. I think I'm gonna use the RAL MG. The Victus. Stacking. Isn't it? You only have to do 4 of them, right? Six. You gotta do 6. Sheesh. God, that made it a grind. Said, I don't care. I don't care. Podcast? Hmm. I definitely want it to be entertainment. That's what I've been thinking about. Is like entertainment, but like the specifics, I'm not really sure. I want it to be fun. Oh, thank you. Where'd you get the stars? Where'd you get it? Oh. Uh, You're right. And then we can have it for a couple days. Yeah. She was like, I just got Stars. Stars is pretty good, by the way. I love Stars. A and B. He was like, I'm gonna go now. Yeah, baby. Yeah, please. You know I was dying for it. No.
UAV overhead.
Leonard.
Hostile mortar strike in the
Oh wow. Yeah, everywhere it turns, the guy's shooting at me already. Ah, who's around me? Okay, good.
Hostile UAV in the area. Here's the flyer.
Is this cheating or something? What's going on here? I might pick a corner, I'm getting shot at. What? This game makes you do that. I know. You're not lying. I gotta keep checking my right and left before you even check. Oh, and I checked it, but he still came around the corner.
Enemy UAV overhead. Mortar strike inbound.
Nice. Dang, man. Flash. Nade. Flash. I think I died. Whatever. No.
Enemy UAV active. Secure the target area.
Hey, absolutely. We're calls, bro. I'll see you later. Hell yeah, go make that money, man. This lobby is so bad. Lobbies, like, I don't even know, AIDS. It is literally AIDS. That lobby was AIDS. That would make the kindest of people lose their minds. Unlock that level 6. I'm gonna scope. Iron Sight's horrible.
Enemies taking Bravo. Securing objective Alpha. Objective Charlie is compromised. Get it back. Alpha secure. Domination.
Enemy is close.
We're losing Bravo. We've secured 2 objectives. Enemy UAV active. Enemy securing Bravo.
Throwing sticky.
My god, I didn't even see him. What do you do?
Enemies taking Bravo.
Excuse me?
Securing Bravo. Enemies deployed a counter UAV. We've lost Bravo. Enemy UAV overhead. Secure Bravo.
No.
Enemy
No time to
securing
switch out.
Alpha.
Okay. That worked. Might eat. Oh, this game. Game's so boring. I want to hear
Today
what
we
he
have a
says.
huge blog post about season 2 and all the changes coming with season 2, because there's a ton of them that'll make the game drastically different than it is currently. So global changes, crash and stability, they're going to go ahead and improve those things. Audio. Data suggests that some PC players may be experiencing audio issues due to discrepancies in the number of channels they are outputting. We've added an option to force PC to stereo output. UI. Number of UI updates are coming to season 2 to improve the overall flow of in-game menus. These updates include improved navigation organization of camo menu, more polished social tab, new My Bundles screen, quick equip items from Battle Pass. That's solid if you like an item in the Battle Pass. Reticle previews in store and Gunsmith. That's a W. Improved clarity of attachment blocking logic in Gunsmith. All right, and this is one where, like, if you equip this one, you're not allowed to equip a suppressor type thing. It'll be clearer. And then more bug fixes. We've also recently introduced a fix that restored instant speed of recent players in menu, because this was like backlogged. You couldn't report people if you ran into a cheater or somebody was racist or whatever. You couldn't find them on the recent list. Status refresh of friends, so that's good, because sometimes it'll say they're offline, so you can't invite them, or whatever the case is. I know a lot of people dealing with that. Experience, improved after action report with audio, play again feature in Battle Royale, bug fixes for inconsistency between challenges, I'm guessing that's what they meant, Battle Pass, and weapon progression. Weapon balance. Weapon balance is something we're analyzing. We're balancing weapons for season 2, just like any other seasonal or mid-season update. Details on weapon balancing can be found in the upcoming patch notes. We're excited to discuss some of these changes to Armor Below that will make for more consistent engagements. For Battle Royale, Gulag 1v1 will be returning, so no more 2v2. With the change, players will see the return of the original Warzone overtime mechanic, the domination style flag, in place of the jailer, which makes sense. We've also made some logical changes to the Gulag experience. Ground loot has been revisited, as well as loadout players will spawn in with. We've updated the pool to include assault rifles, and this goes back to the quality of life changes we saw towards the end of Warzone, where they kind of chose specific weapons so that when you won your Gulag and you came back, you would actually come back with a proper gun. For those players leaving the arena victorious, the Gulag will grant a larger cash reward to players. This change to cash. Oh, that's good. That's even different than we've ever had. Cash economy. In addition to the cash changes the Gulag outlined above, we're balancing the Battle Royale economy with a slight reduction to cash rewards for completing contracts. Additionally, we are increasing the lowest value of cash piles around from ground loot to 800 and from cash registers to 500. Previously, the minimum was 100. So that's a significant 5 to 8 times. In addition to this, cash can be acquired via ground loot containers, white stronghold supply boxes throughout Amazra, but can no longer be found in basic and legendary supply boxes. This should make for a quicker, more consistent gameplay in the pursuit of resources. Loot and inventory. As announced last week, we're shifting away from loot window menus to floating loot that will now drop out of your containers in the world, similarly supply boxes. This change is intended to improve the pace of the gameplay by minimizing time spent navigating the UI and getting players back into action faster. That is kind of going back to Warzone 1, but I think you're still going to have a backpack. Excited to see a new backpack system give players the agency to customize their inventory, desired play style, or role within the squad. In our continued effort to balance engagements, medium-large backpacks will no longer be available, and eliminated players will drop loot onto the ground rather than loot-filled backpacks. Oh, they removed backpacks. So you do have your like regular, but you always have a small backpack. So it means you can't stow another weapon. Interesting. That is a huge change. So it's kind of like they didn't get rid of the backpack completely, but your inventory slots are pretty limited. So you're probably going to stock up mostly on plates, probably a stack of ammo, and just your regular streak. Interesting. Every player will have the same backpack throughout the entire game, which will subsequently reduce the impact of stacking medical supplies like self-revives, equipment, kill streaks. We'll continue to look for feedback and provide updates that streamline the looting experience for everyone. That is kind of an interesting change. I think that one's going to have mixed reviews. Loadouts have always been a core part of Warzone's Battle Royale, despite what some people think, that this should be like every other Battle Royale. It should be like Warzone's Battle Royale, but that's another story. Something we pay close attention to, the changes players have seen with the launch of Warzone 2, and since then have ultimately been in pursuit of the most fulfilling experience for the individual and the team, all while keeping things challenging. As such, we're making further changes to how players acquire part of the entirety of their loadouts. Season 2 will introduce customizable perk packages. Oh man, that could be OP, but it's interesting to see. This feature will launch with a slightly reduced pool of available perks, which we may slowly reintroduce over time.
All right,
We want to
now it's
navigate
your
this
turn to
particular
play.
feature as careful as possible. That's good. They're going to restrict it heavily, ensuring that all players' available perks provide ample utility and remain viable balance options. And hopefully they buff some of them. Like I've mentioned before, scavengers should be fully loaded. Primary weapons will continue to be available at buy stations, but now at a more affordable price point so that players can pursue victory with their most desired weapons. We also remain happy with the introduction of loadout markers. Though we have taken a careful look at the price point, the price of loadout markers has been slightly reduced so that respective squad sizes can acquire their full loadouts at a faster pace. In addition, on extremely rare occasions, players may find one while looting throughout Al Mazrah, and that happened. That was super rare. I think I found a handful of those ever in Caldera. A second loadout public drop has been added, which is good. It's like Zone 5. Meanwhile, drops will now happen on the 1st and 5th circles. They basically went back to the original because that works, right? I get that people want something fresh and different, but when you make a sequel, like many other games, you build on top of what you had, and then it's like, cool, thanks for making this feel familiar, but changing it slightly, right? So we're going to get more additional changes. So 3-plate vest, we're continuing evaluating the pace of the combat engagements and have decided to make a change. All players will start with the 3-plate vest, less RNG. Varying sizes of vests will no longer exist in Battle Royale loot. This standardization will bring a more reliable feel to each engagement from the get-go. We'll continue looking at data about optimizing downtime and improving the ability to recover from a prior engagement. We have made an important tweak to the movement that should yield better outcomes for players in combat. Starting with Season 2, players will be able to bust through doors while plating the way they would if they were sprinting. This change includes a slight increase to movement speed, not broken, for while you're plating to enable players to get to cover faster in the moment of need. In order to make buy stations and their goods easier to access, spawns will be static across the map and loadout drop markers have unlimited stock at all stations. As always, we'll continue to monitor the global balance of the economy. They're going to make all these tweaks. Strongholds, wonder what's going to happen with this. Strongholds provide an alternative gameplay experience with high payoff for those willing to tackle the objective and others interested in robbing players of their rewards. We're committed to providing a balanced engagement for players who choose to enter strongholds. Season 2 will bring changes to the reward players receive from the strongholds and black site completion, as well as additional adjustments to AI. So obviously we get the UAV pulse, which is probably the most valuable thing since the cost of your loadouts are affordable. Good change. So DMZ, they're going to have some enemy tuning. The AI in DMZ were challenging, but the ramp up of difficulty was often steep, with some players getting overwhelmed. With Season 2, we've introduced a number of balance changes to adjust the types of AI, spawning, the number of AI spawning, and the accuracy of AI at range, and much more. Spawn points. We've tuning some of the infill points across Al Mazrah for improved early match experience based on gameplay data. Starting at a point at which your team feels isolated or without loot or contract opportunity is not the best experience. I don't know if you guys saw the tournament I was in with DMZ. We literally spawned at the same location like 6 matches in a row. So they got some SBMM spawning for that. I don't know. Mission difficulty tuning data and feedback reinforced that the faction mission difficulty ramp was too aggressive for many players. Yes. It's like tier 3 is good, and then all of a sudden, holy, some of these challenges. And that made demanding scale ultimately made it very challenging to unlock the second insured slot, completing all tier 3. In Season 1, we have adjusted the overall scaling of difficulty and mission tier progression. Later missions will be quite challenging, even for the experienced operator, but we believe more straightforward access to additional slot will provide a better path forward. Yes, get your feet wet, get them going. Crashes. We know crashes are especially impactful in DMZ. If you lose your items, contraband as a result of addressing the crash in the prior season, we're committed to increased stability. Stay tuned for more specifics. Seasonal refresh. All new missions are coming to Season 2, including a refresh of your current faction mission progress and an inventory contraband and key reset. We will be detailing all the need to... What the heck is that? Are we going to get like a wipe like Tarkov? Interesting. With the new exclusion zone coming to Warzone Season 2, this is like where the chemist is. Players will have a third option to choose from deploying to DMZ. The faction mission refresh will provide new missions that send you across these destinations, including Building 21. We suggest you and your squad gear up for infiltration first. Multiplayer There's a bunch of that, including the return of Resurgence. The full Season 2 announcement blog will release on February 8th, a week before the patch. A lot of good changes. Let me know your thoughts. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for watching as always. Have a great day. So we get our first look at Ashika Island and the Resurgence, and we get Castle first off. This is kind of what this is going to look like. Kind of have the different colors here, and obviously this has multiple levels. Looks like the windows right here, but this area looks like it could be closed off because you can see these windows are kind of all a little bit small. There's an opening here, so maybe you can get on top of it, but you couldn't really get into the interior here. Maybe that would be closed off from this window section, and it's just for aesthetic height, where maybe you could stand on it, but then you'd be a little bit vulnerable. So it's kind of an interesting POI. It is the highest point on the map, at least from what we've seen so far. And looking at other POIs. We also have Town Center, which you can see where the castle is in the back. And then this is kind of like all the way across. There's going to be water. And then right here, we can kind of see this area connects underneath the map. We kind of see the full map. It'll actually connect underneath and wrap all the way around. So it's kind of an interesting thing. And I'll reference this in a quick second when we look at the overhead view of the map. But overall, interesting color choices. It is a little bit darker and gloomier, which is not necessarily what I'd like. I like it to be more vibrant, visible, kind of what we had towards the end of Rebirth where the color was pretty solid, like sunlight. But then again, there are instances where you look at the sun. So I think this is better than having to stare at the sun. We also get to this area, which is the beach club. And this, we can also see the castle up top here. So we can kind of see we're slowly moving around the POI. We have a little bit of a diving board here, a little bit of a bridge that connects to this outside, some little stuff to jump on. And then there is water around the outside, which I don't think will be that useful for the most part. I think only this underground area, which will be a little bit interesting when we get to it. Looks like the recons will possibly be available. Maybe you have to do that, and this could be DMZ related, where you have to go and put in the hard drive in the top. And it looks like there might be a couple of those across the map. Kind of hard to tell those other ones. The detail of the image isn't like crazy. Then we also got underground waterway, and the line I was drawing, it kind of comes through here, and I think it goes like this, and that's kind of how this will connect, and this will be underneath kind of like the castle area. So this will probably connect up. Looks like there's a doorway there because of the lighting, and I'm not really a fan of this style dynamic, just because when you get zones that are about to end, it can get a little bit wonky. But beyond that, seems cool, whatever. Like, this is probably my least favorite POI out of the ones we saw, just because it's kind of like splits up the map in an awkward way. And that was probably my least favorite part of Fortune's Keep, was the dual layer, where it's like, okay, where the heck are these people on the map? All right, cool. I got to jump down and be super vulnerable, or I got to come up and someone's going to hold the zip. So it kind of ends up weird dynamics where you kind of get a little bit of bad RNG on a zone pull. Then here we go with the map. And here's what I was talking about. So this was the first POI we saw. This was Town Center. It's not really Town Center. It's more to the side of the left. It's kind of unnamed, but part of Town Center, because this isn't adjusted properly there. And then Beach Club, it kind of showed this part with this building involved there. So overall, those are kind of the POIs. And then the underground section, this is kind of what I was talking about. You can see that this one has an entry here, or an exit, and then it comes out over here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete those so you can kind of see that. So it does connect through, and it looks like it does something like that. The POI of the underground is something like there. That's kind of my estimate of it. Overall, I'm thinking this is cool. It doesn't look like a huge map by any means. It's kind of hard to say the scale because without playing it. They have the shipwreck area, which is kind of similar to what we had in Caldera. There's a residential area, which was similar to Blackout. There's a farms. I don't really know what that's going to look like. But we also have a port, which could be interesting. We've seen part of this, and we really only saw up to here when it comes to those POIs. We were able to see kind of through here, and then pretty much that POI. And that's it. That's kind of what we've shown. So we're missing a huge section of the map that we'll slowly find out. Let me know what you're most excited about. I'm going to be talking about this over on stream on Twitch. Link near the top description. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day. Seems like a lot of people are concerned about the size of the brand new Ashika Island map coming on the 15th, especially after Call of Duty put out a huge blog with a bunch of photos of every POI from every different angle, it looks like it's huge. So I thought I'd go ahead and kind of take a little bit of a dive and see how this compares to Fortune's Keep, Rebirth Island, Caldera, Al Mazrah, Verdansk, and see where it fits in. Luckily, one of the POIs called Shipwreck actually has a POI that we're very familiar with and is available in Modern Warfare 2, and that is Shipment. We can go ahead and kind of measure the distance between one crate to the other to kind of get a general distance in meters, and we can use that to compare to the map and figure out various ranges. And essentially what that looks like is we zoom in on where Shipment is, we draw a little line from there to there, and then we know that that distance is a specific number of pixels that we can see at the bottom left of the screen of 33.5 pixels, and in game that equates to 25 meters. We do a little bit of math, we kind of work backwards to figure out the overall area of the map, and we focus primarily on the playable space, which would essentially be this area in the red where you know that there's going to be an out of bounds, and we focus on this area in the middle. And not to bore you with a bunch of numbers, but you also got to do this on Verdansk, Rebirth, and all kinds of various things because we know how large those things are that I posted on Twitter. And essentially how that works is Blackout ends up being the largest map, and the playable space is 2870 meters by 2870 meters because they're like square meters, right? Exclusive Ace put together a video right when Verdansk dropped to do a comparison. The overall distance is 4,000 meters by 4,000 meters, which would get you a huge area, but obviously not the entire thing is a playable space, and that's kind of where we get the numbers that we're dealing with. And the same thing with Verdansk, we can see that this is 3750 meters on one side and 3750, and then obviously we can cut off all the red and then we get the area that we see here. The large maps are within relative range of each other, and Verdansk is one of the smallest large maps there was at any given time. And then when it comes to the smaller maps, we pretty much have 3 different maps. I didn't include Alcatraz because that's essentially the exact same size of Rebirth, and it might even be slight larger once they added and extended out into the water where you can get a little bit on shore, and there was a ship on the side later in Blackout's life cycle. So we can see right here, Fortune's Keep is the largest small map. Ashika is very close to that. So if we're comparing this to Rebirth, Ashika Island is 40% larger, but it's still about 10% smaller than Fortune's Keep. And this is how it would look in terms of scale, where we can go ahead and kind of compare this to the largest map. Purple is Verdansk, and then we got the green, the red, and the blue for the smaller map. Let me know, do you think this is a bad thing or a good thing? You think they should have gone smaller, or are you okay with it being slightly smaller than Fortune's Keep? Thank you for watching, and as always, have a great day.
I think it's a little smaller than Fortune's Keep.
So we get our first look at Ashika Island and the Resurgence, and we get Castle.
Hey guys, Cookie here. It is nearly time for the long-awaited release of Hogwarts Legacy, so this is the perfect time to look at all the information we've been given so far. So we've put it into one video for all of you who need the refresher, because with how much content has been talked about for this game, it's enough to make your head spin. Before we start, it's almost time for the Swanee Plays Games Hogwarts Legacy giveaway, but there is still a little bit of time for you to enter if you haven't already. It's totally free, just like this video. Be a subscriber of the channel and follow the link in the description down below. So let's get to the video then. First off, let's go over some of the basics of Hogwarts Legacy. It is a single player only game. There is no multiplayer or co-op options in this game, and as of yet, there have been no announced plans to integrate multiplayer into it in any way. So more than likely, this is a game you will not be able to experience with friends, at least not directly. It's available for PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. It has also additionally been recently announced for Steam Deck too. It is not available for PS4 or Xbox One users, at least not yet. Releases for those consoles is expected later on in April, while Nintendo Switch users will have to wait until late July. PS5 will be getting some additional content over the Series X and PC users, so if you have the luxury of choosing which console to get it for, PS5 might be the choice with extra missions and cosmetics available. As for the content of the game, there's a lot that we know and still so much that we don't. So as to the latter, the game starts with an entirely new character creator. Hogwarts Legacy will allow a good number of options to fully customize your player's look in the game. All kinds of hair colors and hairstyles are available, as well as a few glasses if you want to replicate Harry Potter's look directly. However, more styles of glasses will become available as you progress in the game, as well as clothes and such things like that. There are only 2 voice options for your character, but you can change the pitch of the voices to add a bit of distinction to your character, and the gender options are fully customizable to however you would like to play. There is also a story mode difficulty along with easy, medium, and hard. Story mode will offer players that don't want any kind of challenge a way to play the game without any of the stress. This could be an especially nice option for those players that aren't really gamers and just want to experience a fully new story in the wizarding world. Speaking of that story, let's get into that. The campaign takes place about 100 years before the events of the Harry Potter books and films in the late 1800s and has all new characters within it, although some last names will be familiar like Weasley and Black. You are a late 5th year student who has been given the Wizard's Field Guide to help you catch up to the other students, more on that later. Hogwarts is full of colorful and interesting professors to get to know, and the famous classes all Harry Potter fans know and love. The classes look to be a major part of your experience in the game. Classes will be both main story missions as well as optional side quests to increase your abilities in certain areas. There are many ways to participate in your classes, including brewing potions, raising plants, flying on a broom, dueling right there in the class, and even playing fun games, but not gobstones, so sorry Gobstone fans. It seems the main antagonist of the campaign is Ranrock, a goblin with a particular hatred for wizard kind. He made a tenuous alliance with some dark wizards, however, led by Victor Rookwood. Not a lot has been divulged about this part of the game, but as far as we know, this seems to be who you are ultimately fighting. Back to Hogwarts itself, it is massive, and every square inch of the school was painstakingly brought into amazing detail straight from the books. You can explore all over Hogwarts and see every bit of it, including hidden secrets unknown to many within the castle walls. You will be sorted into one of the 4 famous houses of Hogwarts: Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, or Slytherin. Once sorted, you can see the incredible detail that has been put into each of the common areas of each house, which has been shown in great detail already. Every bit of Hogwarts is brought to life, including the Quidditch pitch, even though it has been announced that there won't be any ability to do anything with it, at least not as of yet. It's still there though, if you want to maybe manifest it into the game by visiting. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Companions are also available to you through the campaign. Only 4 have been talked about so far, which includes 1 from each of the 4 major houses. There may be more in the game that are not yet announced, but we're not sure yet. Companions will accompany you on various missions and bring their own unique stories into the mix. There will be no option to romance them or any other student or character in Hogwarts Legacy, and considering the ages of the students, that's probably for the best. So if you're really into romancing and RPG style games, you won't find any of that. Within Hogwarts is also the Room of Requirement. The Room of Requirement contains all kinds of customizable options for your story in Hogwarts Legacy. Here you can brew potions and harvest plants that can be used in battle to fight off enemies. There's also a menagerie for magical beasts in the Room of Requirement. Here you can raise your own beasts as well as groom and feed them. The beast area is entirely customizable with various items that can be put in there along with all the various beasts that you could raise. Like most RPGs, Hogwarts Legacy has a myriad of ways to customize your personal experience with skills and loot. There are various loot chests throughout Hogwarts and the surrounding area with gear and upgrades everywhere you look. That Wizard's Field Guide I told you about earlier is a great resource for the player to organize everything from their inventory and gear to the talents that you can continually upgrade. Collecting field pages with Accio is a major part of the game and adds to the field guide, so be aware of floating pages because you will definitely need them. So you can apply upgrades whenever you want to suit your playstyle, which brings up the combat part of the game. Judging from people's reactions and first looks at the game, it seems like the combat is one of the strongest options in the game. So let's start with spells that you can use. There are over 20 spells you can use, and from the looks of it, pretty much any spell that is used in the books or films has some sort of use in this game. Revello is used to find hidden treasures or interactable items, sort of like a radar pulse. Lumos can help light up a dark area. Accio is used for the field pages, like I said, but can also be used in combat. So some spells aren't combat spells and are just little spells that are used throughout their playing. Your combat spells are used according to your spell diamond in the lower right hand side of the screen. You can customize this diamond to fit your specific playstyle. Combos are a major part of the game and make the combat very immersive and unique. You have a sort of spidey sense when you are going to be attacked, and if timed perfectly for defense, can lead to some beautiful parries while fighting. You also have access to various finishers which can devastate your opponents, which also leads me to say that this game doesn't seem to be holding back on death. It's pretty clear that when fighting opponents you can definitely kill them, especially since the unforgivable curses are available in the game, including Crucio, which is used to torture. So if you want to be evil within the wizarding world, that option is definitely available to you. This is where the game sort of totes the line between being for kids and being for adults, so it's something to be aware of if that bothers you or excites you. Stealth is another dynamic of combat within the game, as you can use it to defeat enemies as opposed to open combat. There are a lot of clever uses for spells within this game, so if you want to cast spells to your heart's content, I don't see you being disappointed. You can perform duels with students and outside of class to increase your talents with it, or go out of Hogwarts to fight enemies. Speaking of the world outside of Hogwarts, well, it's also massive and detailed. Any place you can see on the map, you can visit. There are lakes to swim in, different kinds of creatures to encounter, and dangers to find. Hogsmeade is included in this game and will include various items you can purchase, characters you can interact with, and news stories to seek out. If you want to traverse the landscape, you can fly, either by broom or by magical creature. The mechanics of the flying depend on the mount that you are using, as each feels different, but there's nowhere you can't fly, including all over Hogwarts itself, to see every little detail. So, if that's enough to convince you to get the game, here's a little bit more information on how to purchase. There are 2 editions you could purchase. There's the standard edition, which you can pre-order now, which will include the Onyx Hippogriff mount, and if you go through PlayStation, will also include a unique potion recipe and unique quest. If you get the deluxe edition, it comes with 72 hours early access, which means you could start playing February 7th, a Dark Arts Garrison hat, and a Dark Arts pack, as well as everything included in the standard edition. The game will be available to everyone on February 10th. Alright, so that concludes this video on everything you need to know about Hogwarts Legacy. So are you guys excited for this game, or have reasons not to be? Let us know in the comments down below. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye for now.
Open world games just keep getting bigger, more detailed, and more interesting. This year there's a whole lot of them that we just really want to get our hands on, for one reason or another. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on GameRanks, new open world games to play in 2023. Starting off with number 25, it's Everywhere, and I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I know exactly what this game is. It's called Everywhere, it's an open world game. Leslie Benzies is the guy in charge, it's a new studio. The whole point, he says, is that this is supposed to be a less restrictive open world game. It looks kind of sci-fi, it looks really ambitious, and, I mean, we're talking about a guy who's been involved in some of the best open world games of all time, the GTA series, so obviously it's worth a shot. Everywhere is supposedly coming out next year. Well, not necessarily everywhere, but at least Microsoft Windows. And number 24 is Rise of the Ronin, a pretty interesting new title coming from Koei Tecmo, the developers of the Nioh series. It looks like a pretty different game from Nioh. It does not look like a Souls-like. In fact, it looks kind of like if Assassin's Creed was the Japanese equivalent of a cowboy game. It looks like there's going to be a lot of fun fighting. There's guns, there's swords that do things that swords can't actually do. Grappling hook swords? I don't know. It takes place in 1863 Japan, and just to be frank, that's a perfect setting for a game. The waning years of the Wild West have turned out to be a great setting for video games, and people don't realize that Japan had an equivalent. Rise of the Ronin is coming to PlayStation 5 sometime during the year. We don't have a date yet, but it looks like a good one. And number 23 is Atomic Heart. As you know, a USSR Bioshock, basically. Obviously, there's a lot more going than just that, but that's a pretty good way to sum it up. This game takes place in an absolutely beautiful alternate Soviet Union, where robotics have made these huge leaps, there's integration with biotics, and some kind of very intriguing plot that will no doubt involve a mystery and the nature of the machines. Atomic Heart is landing on the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and PC February 21st. At number 22 is Crimson Desert, which comes to us from Pearl Abyss, the developers of Black Desert Online. This was originally going to be a prequel to the famed online game, however, it is actually not. Development resulted in something they just considered completely different, and although it does run on the same engine, an upgraded one to be exact, Crimson Desert is going to set itself in medieval times. It is a fantasy game, and it is single player. Primarily. Allegedly, there's some multiplayer elements, but I don't know exactly what they are. It's been mostly billed as a single-player action RPG that doesn't have a set date yet, but is coming in 2023 to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and PC. At number 21 is Skull and Bones, a game that has been in the works a long time. Originally came out of the naval battles of Assassin's Creed Black Flag, was going to be an MMO spin-off, and then just became its own thing. It's set in the Indian Ocean. It is open world, albeit much more ship-oriented, and involves what it's calling tactical action. I suspect it's going to play very much like the ship battles in Assassin's Creed Black Flag, except it's its own game. I love it. I've wanted it for a very long time, and I'm excited to play it. It's going to land on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC on March 9th. At number 20 is DokeV, an open-world creature collector and adventure game that looks to encroach upon Pokemon's area, and as far as performance, I'm guessing this game's going to look a lot better. The last two Pokemon games came out on the Switch. It's outdated hardware, doesn't run great. This is a really colorful, really unique looking take on a Monster Hunter / collector that's coming to PC with single and multiplayer options. It's coming to us from Pearl Abyss, the same people who made Black Desert Online. We already talked about them a moment ago. This looks like an interesting game. If it plays as good as it looks, it's definitely got something to it. I really like the visual style, and again, I'm just interested to see how it plays. We don't have a date, but like I said, DokeV is landing on Microsoft Windows sometime this year. And number 19 is Avowed, an RPG coming to us from Obsidian Entertainment. So Avowed basically seems like a first-person Skyrim-y type game taking place in the Pillars of Eternity world of Eora. Avowed has got a really cool look to it. Like I said, it does look kind of like a Skyrim-ish game, but also it doesn't look anything like Skyrim. It's got a very different color palette. Doesn't look like it's going for realism in particular. It really looks like an Obsidian game, and that makes me really excited. Avowed is coming to the Xbox Series and PC. Don't have a date yet, but sometime during the year. At number 18 is Ark 2, the sequel to Ark Survival Evolved. It's got Vin Diesel, it's got Souls-like melee combat, and it's got dinosaurs and all the other stuff that you get with Ark. Honestly, Ark's a really interesting game, if maybe a imperfect one, but the sequel looks like it's really shaping up to be kind of what the original promised to be. Not that the original is anything to laugh at. Well, sometimes it is, but that's more intentional, I think. Ark is going to launch as an exclusive on Xbox Series and PC. Exactly what day we don't know yet, but it will be sometime this year. At number 17 is Season, A Letter to the Future, a game in which you ride around a really crazy, cel-shaded, beautiful cartoon, but also kind of breathtakingly realistic in certain ways, game where you document and record things going on in the world before the world ends, because apparently the world is ending. There's a cataclysm. I don't know if you can prevent it. I don't know if that's the point of the game. If you can't, I'm going to go ahead and say that it's going to be a pretty depressing game, despite how beautiful it is. Season, A Letter to the Future is coming out on PS4 and 5 on January 31st. And number 16 is Sons of the Forest, a sequel to The Forest. Now, what worked about The Forest is that on top of being a really good survival game, it also is a totally bonkers cannibal story with mutants and freaks. In the first game, you're trying to find your kid. Now you're trying to find a billionaire. You're an elite soldier, so you probably got a little bit more up your sleeve than a random father running around in the woods. But you also survived the helicopter crash, so you got some injuries. Apparently, the ante has been upped with the mutants. We've seen some of it. And also, there's a 3-armed companion that you'll be able to run around with. I mean, not much has changed from the original premise. Pretty damn good looking survival game with the bonkers cannibal story and mutants. Sons of the Forest is landing on PC February 23rd. At number 15 is Assassin's Creed Mirage. What's being billed as a return to the series' roots, moving a little bit away from the role-playing stuff of recent Assassin's Creed games, and getting back into the more linear stealth storytelling of the original Assassin's Creed series. Still going to take place in an open world. I'm pretty excited for this. I don't have a problem with the new Assassin's Creed games at all, but I am kind of excited to have a game that's more like the originals. Assassin's Creed Mirage is coming to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and PC sometime this year. And number 14 is Where Winds Meet, an open-world martial arts action RPG. It takes place near the beginning of the Northern Song Dynasty during the twilight of the Ten Kingdoms. You play as a swordsman. You make a lot of different choices, like safeguarding the Empire, fighting it, blah, blah, blah. It's a very pretty-looking game. It's apparently very open-ended. We don't have an exact date, but the game is PC exclusive as of now, and certainly looks very interesting. At number 13 is Tom Clancy's The Division Heartland, a spin-off title of The Division, obviously, set in the same universe, except set in the Pacific Northwest in a town called Silver Creek. This one's actually free to play, and its primary mode is a PvP with 45 different players, with another mode that's PvE with missions and objectives. It's got a cool look to it, and The Division's a pretty good looter shooter, but it's also free to play, so my hope is that that doesn't mess up what The Division does right. Tom Clancy's The Division Heartland comes to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and PC sometime this year. At number 12 is Dead Island 2, which takes place on the island of Los Angeles and San Francisco. Not exactly an island, but a very large chunk of the world, which is going to be infected after the island incident. Apparently, the combat is going to see a bit of a revamp, and of course, the world is much, much larger than the original games, and the story of Dead Island continues. Dead Island 2 is coming to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and PC April 28th. At number 11 is Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl, a very long-awaited full-on sequel to the Stalker series. The first Stalker game came out way back in 2007. The second game, Clear Sky, came out in 2008. Third game, Call of Pripyat, came out in 2009. And this game was announced at the same time. The developer, GSC Game World, actually had to disband at one point, and there has been a fair amount of scandal involving this game, but it is finally coming this year. Stalker is just a really unique game. If you go back to the originals, they certainly have their flaws, but there's also so many interesting systems at play at any given time that I'm just really interested to see Stalker in a next generation situation where everything works completely and all of the lessons of the first have been learned. Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl is coming to the Xbox Series and PC sometime this year. And number 10 is Forspoken. It's a game we've talked about actually quite a bit here. Its story is basically you're a woman from New York and you get transported to a magical fantasy land and want to get back. The real thing that's attracting people to this game, of course, is not the story. That is, something that could turn out very good and something that could turn out very bad depending on its execution. But the traversal in this open world game just looks like nothing else. It looks fantastic. There is a demo that has split people pretty intensely. There's a lot of people that absolutely love it, and then some people who really do not like it. And to me, that's always a signal that a game is going to be pretty interesting. There's a reason why a bunch of people love it, and also there's a reason why a bunch of people hate it. I obviously tend to wait for the full game to make big judgments, and Forspoken is landing on PS5 and PC on the 24th. And number 9 is Redfall, a new game from Arcane. As longtime viewers will know, I'm a big Arcane fanbird. Redfall is kind of a different looking game for them. Basically, vampires have taken
Apparently.
over this
Turn up loud,
town
please.
called Redfall, and in some ways it
That
looks
already
like
has
Left
big
4
light on
Dead,
it.
and then when you watch it, it doesn't really look like Left 4 Dead. Arcane always has something interesting to say and do with its games, so I'm pretty interested to see exactly how this one shakes out. This game's landing on Xbox Series and Windows sometime in the first half of the year. And number 8 is Hogwarts Legacy, a game where you hang out in Hogwarts and you know the world of wizarding and all that. You make a character and you go through the 5th year at Hogwarts in the 1890s. It's an action RPG in a big open world Hogwarts. Like, what more could a Harry Potter fan ask for? Besides, the game is coming to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, PC, and somehow Nintendo Switch on different dates throughout the year. Firstly, on the next gen stuff on February 10th, then last gen April 4th, and Switch on July 25th. And number 7 is Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, a game that we don't have a large amount of information on, but Avatar, of course, rakes in large amounts of cash for reasons, and they're making a game. You'll play as one of the Na'vi, and the story will not be an adaptation of any of the movies. It's actually going to be a standalone story, which I think is a good idea, and that's basically the extent we know about it. I think they're really going to need to announce more about this game. They believe it's going to come out sometime during 2023, and if not, early 2024. We'll have more information as it appears. Right now, it's slated for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC, so we'll see. And number 6 is Diablo 4. I mean, it's Diablo 4. It's a huge game from a huge series that has defined so much about top-down action RPGs, and everybody's been pretty excited about this game for quite a while. Diablo 4 is coming to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and PC June 6th. And number 5 is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which is not the same thing as the Arkham games, but is developed by them and takes place in the Arkhamverse. However, rather than taking place in Gotham, it's taking place in Metropolis. Brainiac invaded Earth, brainwashed the Justice League, including Batman, who is not dead. However, Joker is, because again, this takes place in the Arkhamverse. You're the Suicide Squad, so you got Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, and King Shark. You switch between them in Control, or play 4-player co-op, which is a great idea. And it kind of looks like what Gotham Knights should have been, or maybe Gotham Knights just shouldn't have existed. It really looks good. Like, look at the footage of this game. It looks great. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is coming to PS5, Xbox Series, and PC May 26th. And number 4 is Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, the Star Wars Souls-like that, of course, I think really did a great job of adapting that formula to a Star Wars story with the Jedi, etc. This one is set 5 years after Fallen Order, around the same time the Obi-Wan Kenobi series is set. As you might guess, being a Jedi is not exactly a safe prospect, particularly as time goes on, and I'm ready for more of this game. I'm very happy they decided to make a sequel to this. It's landing on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC March 17th. And number 3 is Marvel's Spider-Man 2, the sequel to both Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales. It'll be continuing the plot of these games and not using Miles Morales' new costume, thank God. I'm pretty excited to see where this game goes because obviously there's some loose ends from both plots that I'm sure will get tied up, and Venom is making an appearance. So Spider-Man fans are kind of getting their money's worth, I think, out of Spider-Man 2. It's basically what we really want. It is going to be landing on the PS5 sometime in the fall of 2023. And number 2 is a heavy hitter. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is, of course, coming out this year. And, of course, I'm expecting that this is going to generate a very large amount of discussion. It looks beautiful, obviously, and continues the story of the first Breath of the Wild. It's probably the highest profile Zelda sequel to just retain the previous game and everything that happened, all of its events, etc., etc. There are a lot of unanswered questions about this game, but that's part of the fun, is it not? Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is coming out May 12th on the Nintendo Switch. And finally, at number 1, it's Starfield. It was gonna come out last year, it got delayed till this year. It's Skyrim in space, according to Todd Howard, and this is gonna be a huge game. How could it not? First off, it's the first Xbox exclusive Bethesda RPG, so that's already a big thing. And allegedly, the universe that this game takes place in is very, very big. I'm really excited for it. It's Creation Engine, but I don't know, maybe Bethesda understands that they have to do better than the buggy messes they've released in the past. The fact they delayed past what was essentially like the perfect date, November 11th, which is the anniversary of Skyrim, makes me think they're prioritizing the right things over fancy launches. And yeah, I'm excited. I've been excited. Starfield's gonna be great. It's landing on Xbox Series and PC, probably in the fall, but we will have more information on its launch as it becomes available. And that's all for today. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If
That's
you're not
relaxing.
subscribed, now's a
Watching
great
videos
time
on
to
stream.
do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. So click subscribe. Don't forget to enable all notifications.
Witches and wizards, muggles, and squibs, the time is almost here for Hogwarts Legacy to be released. Guys, it's so freaking close. And I know we keep talking about it, but man, this has the potential to be one of the greatest releases of 2023. And so today we are asking the question, first of all, is this game worth buying? Which obviously we can only get so far with. But even more importantly, what are all the details that I need to know before purchasing this game? Welcome everybody to the Lumberzak Gaming channel, your place for friendly, quality gaming content. And it's my goal in this video to make sure that you know everything that you could possibly want to know to make a decision on whether this game is going to be for you or not. Now, I've already done a ton of deep dives on Hogwarts Legacy, but these are like the final details, the final things that I believe that you should know if you're going to make a decision on whether or not to get this game at day one. We're going to be going over everything from gameplay to time to beat to something that you can do right now, that you should do right now for exclusive content for Hogwarts Legacy. So be sure to stick around to the end to hear about that. Let's not waste any more time and dive right on into it. There's a lot of people that still haven't seemed to realize this point, or maybe they're just kind of getting onto the bandwagon of looking up things about Hogwarts Legacy. This is a single player experience. Now, it would be really cool to be able to attend Hogwarts, you know, with all of your best friends slinging spells beside each other, but this is meant to be a very narrative, solo-driven game. Personally, I could see the success of this game really opening up to the idea of coming up with some sort of Hogwarts Legacy MMO, but I'm also on the side of the fact
now,
that
buddy.
I think that solo experiences are kind of underrated now. Don't get me wrong, I love great multiplayer games, but I also sometimes really enjoy that solo story experience. It's also important to realize that this is an open world game. The map seems massive. This isn't really a spoiler, so I'm not really sharing anything in case you want to, not see that. But the map is apparently a massive size according to some recent leaks. It also has been confirmed that it has been cut down a little bit from the original size. However, we are looking at a pretty large map size with a lot to explore in this open world experience. With plenty of side quests and areas to go and visit, puzzles to solve. I mean, truly, there is a lot to do in this game. From the very beginning, you are going to create your character and you are going to make a very important decision, and that decision is going to be what house should you belong to in your Hogwarts Legacy playthrough. Now, obviously, we've seen all the different common rooms in the game, but the reality is that is not the only difference when you choose your house. The game experience that you will have is quite different, with all of the stories leading back to one central story. However, this means that you can go through and your experience could be different every single time based on which house that you choose. So between Gryffindor, Slytherin, Hufflepuff, and Ravenclaw, you will have completely different experiences with this game, which to me is a huge win in my book. Any type of game that has this much attention to detail that can give you a vastly different experience multiple times is like step number one in whether or not I'm going to spend my money on a game. Which leads me into my next very important point. This game does have multiple endings. Now, just how drastic these endings are going to be, we still don't fully know, but it has been confirmed that you can get a different ending than what I can. And on top of that, if you have a different house than I do, and I make different decisions than you do, and you have a completely different experience in your house, which leads to a completely different outcome based on your own decisions and your own experience with the game, guys, we are talking about massive replayability with this game. Not only that, this is the type of thing that I love to experience and then talk to somebody else who's had a completely different experience with the game, and we share notes. We share our experiences with this game. And honestly, that's going to make me want to play the game even more. It's going to make me want more outcomes, more decisions, more experiences that are just going to lead me to playing the game more. Again, we don't fully know the scope of how different these endings are, but that leads me to my next point, and something I've already done a video on, but we'll talk about here, is the fact that you can be evil in this game. I've actually found that there are a lot of people that do not have a fantasy of attending Hogwarts and being a goody two-shoes witch or wizard. In fact, there's a lot of people out there that want to be the next Voldemort. Well, I guess you would say the first Voldemort, because this is a prequel game, but then apparently everybody forgets you anyway. That must be some massive Obliviate spell. But yeah, you can totally be evil in this game. You have access to all of the unforgivable curses. You straight up just blast people out of existence with finishers. Sure, you have the ability to stun people. You can stupefy the heck out of somebody, but you can straight up drop them dead, which I imagine is going to really play into, some of the decisions that you're going to make when it comes to the multiple endings that you can get. And everybody assumes that you're just going to be an evil Slytherin, but honestly, I want to be an evil Hufflepuff, who's going to be expecting that? Truly, I'm excited to see the scope of the different endings that you can get, because, I mean, if I can play a hero playthrough and a villain playthrough, this game, is just going to be elevated to so much higher in my book. Now, I've already touched on it a little bit, but combat in this game just looks incredible. You're able to string together multiple different spells. You're going to get a different experience. Your character has what is known as ancient magic. That's kind of our thing in this game that we know of so far. And it seems like your ancient magic bar is going to be somewhat directly associated with the types of finishers that you have and abilities that you're going to have that other people are not. And so how you string together these spells is going to really determine the type of combat experience that you have. It's also important to note that throughout your time with the game, your spells, your charms, your potions are all going to be upgradable and really fine-tuned to your play style, which is going to be very helpful, especially when you're trying to decide, really what kind of witch or wizard you're going to be. Another huge aspect to this game that's really going to make it well worth some people's time are the fact that you're able to capture and care and heal beasts. It seems like a lot of beasts are going to be plagued with some sort of dark magic, and you have the opportunity to save them, to rescue them, to raise them. Now, there doesn't actually seem to be any kind of confirmation as to whether you're going to, have evil beasts at your disposal. Unfortunately, my guess is probably not. But if you're one of those types of people that really enjoys this element in games, I'm kind of thinking the Chow Garden in Sonic Adventure 2, which honestly was just one of my favorite games of all time. I could easily find myself getting lost with these beasts and caring for them, and customizing my vivarium, which is the area where you will be able to tend and care for your beast. You'll get multiple of them throughout the game that you can customize. I really could see myself just losing tons of hours in these areas. Unfortunately, one of the features that a lot of fans were really looking forward to that has all but been shut down by the development team. They're saying that at launch, there is no Quidditch in this game. Yes, I know, everybody's favorite and basically only wizarding sport that is known to pretty much everybody is not going to be featured in this game. It is worth noting that at one point it was put in the game, but pretty early on in development, the team scratched it to focus in on other areas of the game. So that doesn't mean that this couldn't be added in at a later date. Apparently there's a point where you can put on gear as if you're going to play Quidditch, but as of right now, the developers have been very clear that this game is not in Hogwarts Legacy. Now, when we're looking at the time for completion of this game, this is honestly one of the biggest features that I look at whenever I'm buying any kind of game. I'm the kind of person that really likes to make sure that I'm getting my bang for my buck, and it seems like the base game alone is estimated to take 35 hours. And personally, I am incredibly excited about that. Listen, sorry about that, had to sneeze. Listen, I have not waited the majority of my lifetime for a game like this to come around and for the story to be 10 hours long. 35 hours is a decent chunk of time. And that's not even the completionist, because they say that the completionist time is somewhere close to 70 hours. You're looking at almost double the amount of time for a completionist run, which includes about over 100 of Merlin's puzzles and areas and things to accomplish throughout this game, side quests, dungeons, all of that great stuff. You have so much time in this game, and with the different houses and the multiple endings that you can get, I really think this game is going to well be worth the money. And speaking about how much we're going to be playing the game, it's also important to know that there has been confirmation that you will receive multiple save files for this game. So you'll be able to go through on every house and play the game all the way through without having to delete your old save files. If you've got multiple people playing on one version of the game because you live in the same house, nobody has to lose their profile in order for you to be able to play, which is obviously a huge deal when it comes to the replayability of this game and also not losing your progress on your other characters. When it comes to the nitty-gritty, we want to talk about what consoles are you actually able to play this game on. Hogwarts Legacy is coming to the PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PC, Nintendo Switch, and has been confirmed to be Steam Deck verified on launch. So pretty much everybody is going to be receiving this game. However, there is a bit of a catch because the release dates for this game are different across the board. The release date for the next gen consoles and PC, including the Steam Deck, is going to be February 10th. So if that's you, you are able to jump in and head off to Hogwarts by mid-February. If you are on old gen consoles like the PS4 or the Xbox One, you can expect to see this release date on April 4th of this year. The development team has said that they wanted a little bit more time to make sure that the game was up to par for old gen before they released it out, and had a ton of technical issues just trying to get it work on old gen for the sake of getting it to try and work on old gen. Unfortunately, if you are on the Nintendo Switch, the development team is taking even longer to make sure that that release goes off well, so you'll be receiving the game on July 25th. Now, if you're somebody with multiple consoles or multiple ways to play, you might be asking yourself, which version should I actually get? Well, it is important to know that this game is definitely optimized for the PlayStation 5 experience. That means it's definitely going to be working with the haptic feedback, the adaptive triggers, the dynamic light bar. None of these are like game-breaking things, but if you have the option, it's definitely something that you should consider when trying to purchase this game. But even more importantly than that, the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 are going to be receiving exclusive content for the first year of Hogwarts Legacy's release. With this, you're going to be getting an extra dungeon with the Haunted Hogsmeade quest, an extra shop, and if you pre-order the game on PlayStation, you'll also get a Felix Felicis potion recipe that will only come with the pre-order. Beyond that, it is also important to realize that there are multiple performance modes and variable refresh rate confirmation. The team says the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S console versions of Hogwarts Legacy support multiple graphical modes of play, the most common of which are Fidelity Mode, which runs at 30 FPS, and Performance Mode, which targets 60 FPS. Graphical modes for players who have variable refresh rate supported TVs or monitors are supported for Hogwarts Legacy on PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S. When choosing which console you should be playing on, it's also important to know which version that you should get as well. The basic edition just comes with the standard game, and if you pre-order, you will also receive the Onyx Hippogriff mount, which it seems like a pre-order is the only way that you will specifically get this mount in the game. The Digital Deluxe also comes with the Onyx Hippogriff mount, as well as a Thestral mount, a set of Dark Arts cosmetics, and a Dark Arts Battle Arena, which is one of 3 confirmed battle arenas for the game. We have not yet gotten to see the other 2. However, the Dark Arts Battle Arena is only accessible through the Dark Arts pack, which does come with the Digital Deluxe version. Now, if you don't want to purchase the Digital Deluxe version at the beginning, you don't have to, and you can still purchase the Dark Arts pack separately. It's also important to note that if you do not get the Dark Arts pack, it does not mean that you do not have access to the Dark Arts. You just do not have the cosmetics, the Thestral mount, and the Dark Arts Battle Arena. With the Digital Deluxe version, you also will get 72 hours early access to the game, so technically, you'll be able to play it on February 7th. It's also worth noting that there are currently no microtransactions in this game. This game does not have any kind of pay to win features. Pretty much everything that you receive in the game paying extra for is cosmetic and does not give you any kind of one-up. The only thing remotely close that does that is the Felix Felicis potion, which is a PlayStation exclusive. Also, if you have a Wizarding World account and you've already been sorted into your house and you have your wand, all of that stuff will transfer over to the game, and whether or not you choose to accept which house it puts you in and which wand you have, it is probably a good idea to do this because you will receive a special beaked skull mask and these really freaking cool House Fanatic school robes that are only going to be available through linking your account from wizardingworld.com. I think Hogwarts Legacy is going to be a slam dunk. Let me know which aspect of this game you are most excited for. Comment which house you're going to be playing first, because I know a lot of you guys will be playing through all of them at some point. Here at the Lumberjack Gaming channel, we are all about building a positive community of gamers that want to interact together and share their passion with each other. So if that sounds like something you would be interested in, make sure to hit that subscribe button, comment below, say hello, tell somebody in the comments that you love them, you're glad they're here. For more deep dives into Hogwarts Legacy, check out this video up here, and I'll see you over there. Witches and Wizards and all future students of Hogwarts, we are getting so close to the release of Hogwarts Legacy. And today we're going to go over the final touches of everything that you need to know, that you need to do in order to make sure that you have the best Hogwarts Legacy experience as soon as possible. Welcome everybody to the Lumberjack Gaming channel, your place for friendly, quality gaming content. That's right guys, it is almost here, the day that many people have been waiting for. But there are some things that future players of Hogwarts Legacy are upset about that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how to pre-download this game, get a little bit of taste of just how big this map is, and to figure out exactly which mode you should be playing this in for the best possible performance. So let's not waste any more time and dive right on into it. With Hogwarts Legacy so rapidly approaching, many people are anticipating being able to pre-download this game so that on day one, they're able to jump right into their house, right into their classes, and to finally become the witch or wizard that they've been hoping to for so long. However, it seems like somebody's got the short end of the stick and they're not very happy about it. Because players like me who are playing on PC were not actually able to download the game ahead of time. So that being said, if you are on PlayStation 5 or you are on the Xbox Series X and S, you are able to pre-download this game right now. You can go to your console right now, hit that download. Obviously, you will not be able to play it until the game actually goes live, which if you pre-ordered the digital deluxe version, you get 72 hours early access. But unfortunately, for those of us who are on PC, we don't have that option. Now, am I bummed out about it? A little bit. Mainly because it's been confirmed that this game is around 80 gigs to download. Now, I have decently fast internet, but for those people who are playing on PC who don't have very fast internet, that 80 gigs could possibly take a really long time to download. And if you were hoping to dive right on into it day one, it might take you some extra time. The only reason that I feel that this is like an extremely valid thing to be upset about is the fact that this game has advertised a 72 hours early access to Hogwarts Legacy. And if you have slower internet speeds, 80 gigs is going to take a while, and that just chips away at your 72 hours early access, making the digital deluxe pre-order a little less worth its money. However, console players, you are able to get right into this download now, so that if you have McDonald's Wi-Fi and it takes you 3 days to download 20 gigs, well, you can make sure that you're not going to be late to class when Hogwarts Legacy launches. Now, when it comes to the mode that you should be playing Hogwarts Legacy in, there's two different modes. There's Fidelity mode and there's a Performance mode. And if you're not extremely up to date on how games run, there are two big differences between these two modes, and you'll have to choose which one you want to run the game at for a better experience. Now, Fidelity mode is going to make this game run at 30 FPS, and Performance mode targets 60 FPS. Now, from people who are playing this game early on, a lot of people have said that both of them look pretty great. If you're one of those people who sees the higher FPS and you think Performance mode is the way that you want to go, from what we're hearing, the game looks pretty great in that area, in that 60 FPS. However, it seems like a lot of people are saying that the game really shines in Fidelity mode with ray tracing, which ray tracing just better simulates the physical behavior of light. Now, with this, a lot of people have said that fidelity mode with ray tracing looks fantastic. It can be a bit stuttery, especially when you're kind of walking into new areas. But even though it's only 30 FPS, a lot of people have said that it still looks really great at 30 FPS. So ultimately, it's going to be up to you whether you want this game to look super good, or if you want to make sure you kind of level out some of that stuttering in the game. But overall, it seems like the early access people have had nothing but good things to say when it comes to the performance and visuals of Hogwarts Legacy. Now, another big thing that we got to hear from somebody early that's not necessarily a spoiler, so I wouldn't be worried about that, but there's been recent word of somebody who's confirmed to have played this game for about 6 hours and said that they've only experienced about 1% of the map. Now, obviously, if this one person was just hanging out in one small area trying to find every single thing, that doesn't necessarily tell us that this map is, just massive. We can't necessarily multiply 6 hours by 100. But from confirmation, we also heard that there are tons of hidden gems, there's tons of Easter eggs, there's a lot of things that are packed into every single part of this map, which is a good thing to hear. The size of a map is not necessarily how big a game is. If you have giant open plains or forests that have literally nothing to find in them, then this game doesn't necessarily have a lot to offer. But from people who have played the game early on, whether that's gotten access early or they played the 2-hour preview, many people have said that there are so many things and so many secrets to find in Hogwarts Legacy. And if the map is as impressive as a lot of people are speculating, then I really do think that we are in for a treat. I'm not always a completionist, but this is the type of game that I want to find every little thing. I want to find every little Easter egg. I cannot wait to explore the grounds of Hogwarts, the areas of Hogsmeade, the Forbidden Forest. All of these areas I think are just going to be jam-packed with some great stuff. Now, obviously, you see around the internet, tons of people are saying this game's going to flop. A lot of people are saying that we're overhyping this game, and I would say it is important to curb your expectations. This game does have an estimated time of 35 hours for base game and about 75 hours for completionist. That is a shorter runtime than a lot of open world RPGs. However, at the end of the day, if you are a Hogwarts fan, this game can mean so much to you. It's not always necessarily about the time that you spend on a game, but the experience that you have with it. There are going to be a ton of people that are going to come and say that this game is going to be horrible, and you know what? It could be. But if this game holds a special place for you, if you are excited to experience Hogwarts Legacy, if you grew up reading the Harry Potter books, I think we're in for a treat no matter what. So don't let the negative Nellies get to you. You might need to curb your expectations a little bit, but guys, this game is just going to be an incredible experience for Harry Potter fans everywhere. Here at the Lumberjack Gaming channel, we are all about building a friendly, uplifting community for gamers who just want to share their passion together and have a good time. If that sounds like something that you want to be a part of, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Find somebody in the comments today, give them some love, give them some encouragement. I'm really glad that you're here, and I'm really glad that Hogwarts Legacy is almost upon us. For more things, Hogwarts Legacy, go ahead and check Witches and Wizards, heroes and villains alike. Hogwarts Legacy is almost upon us, and you're here because you want to know what kind of